The Greens are hiding the Australian flag. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee and, well, let's have a look at this. Let's look at what the Greens leader are doing. If you voted for the Greens, this is the type of leadership that you voted for. Why Greens leader Adam Bandt hid the Australian flag before a press conference. And we scroll down here, we can see the image. They dragged it over to the side to hide it, where they kept these other flags, Torres Strait Islander and Aboriginal flags, shown. What would the outrage be if someone removed these flags? Could you imagine that? I mean, this is the flag of our country. And that's reality. If you don't like it, well, then you got to grow up because it's reality. Why are the Greens this childish? I mean, this is just utterly embarrassing and pathetic, but this is what they are. The Greens are all about theatre politics. No one has to take them seriously. We're starting to see the ramifications of their influence on business and politics with the blackouts. Don't kid yourself into thinking it's not their influence at play here. Labor is dependent on Greens' preferences. Why do you think the states aren't exploring for new resources? Why do you think super funds and banks won't invest in coal or fossil fuel power generation? I wonder. I hope people learn. I hope people see stupid behavior like this and realize it's a complete joke. These guys are idiots. Or for once, spend the time to look at their policies. Critically look at them. Greens leader Adam Bandt has been criticised after refusing to speak next to the Australian flag at a press conference. This is an Australian politician, a leader of a political party, paid for by us. I mean, this just seems so petty. It really seems petty, doesn't it? A member of his staff, so he couldn't even do it himself, could be seen moving the flag behind the podium before he began speaking at Sydney's Commonwealth Parliamentary offices on Monday. Only the Aboriginal flag and the Torres Strait Islander flag could be seen behind him as he spoke to the cameras. I bet you there'd be some, more than you imagine, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders who don't agree with the Greens. You know, I just have a feeling. Mr. Bandt said he removed the flag because it represents lingering pain for some Australians, and used the opportunity to promote his view that Australia should become a republic with an updated flag. Well, there you go. I think if the Greens want us to be a republic, maybe we should put up with good old Charlie for a while. For many Australians, I mean, just think about it. Anyway, Charles is much better. For many Australians, this flag represents dispossession and the lingering pains of colonisation, Mr. Bandt said. Through treaty with First Nations people and by moving to a republic, we can have a flag that represents all of us. Oh, you still won't be happy. Who are we kidding? You're in the business of outrage, drama, and fear, and division. That's how you get your votes. That's what it is. How many people do you think vote Greens out of white guilt? Seriously. I don't understand. It can't be their policies, because their policies are insane. The Greens politician primarily used the press conference to talk about Labor's approach to emissions, following his comments on renewable energy amid last week's power crisis. Labor is bringing a weak target to Parliament. That means the end of the Great... Oh, for God's sakes, what is wrong with this guy? The end of the Great Barrier Reef. The Great Barrier Reef is fine. It is not going to end. People are milking the fear of it to earn money. Okay? It's a living organism. It grows. It contracts. It's fine. So much money is being pissed away on the reef. Okay? They're trying to manually regrow it. You don't need to waste money on that. It is fine. I mean, look at these lot. Look at the fear they're generating. Most people don't have time to check this. Most people won't look at the actual claims that they're making. I spoke to a scientist who worked on the reef. He said all the claims of pollutants coming from the farmland, it's all bullshit. Reef's fine. Who do you think I'm going to trust? Trust the science. Labor is now an obstacle to greater climate action. And they are refusing to listen to the will of the people who have just delivered a big mandate for climate mandates at the election. Oh, well, maybe the preppers are right, honestly. Maybe they're right, getting away from this stupidity. Indigenous leader Warren Mundine weighed in on Brandt's flag gesture shortly after, questioning if the act was appropriate for federal parliament and whether the Greens actually hate Australians. I like him, he's good. It's idiotic, Mundine said. Are the Greens actually in the Australian federal parliament, seriously? Do they actually hate Australians that much? Aboriginals call themselves Australians all the time. Yeah, funny that. We're meant to all be together. Australia is a multicultural mixing pot. Doing shit like this will divide people. You'll create animosity, anger, and you'll spur racism. This is why the left are the most racist of all, particularly with their racism of low expectations. It's really disgusting. The Greens are just a fringe university-type group trying to run down the country. Dr. Bella Dabrera, the director of the Foundations of Western Civilization program at the Institute of Public Affairs, said Brandt's assumption was completely out of touch with real Australians who are proud of their country and proud of their history. Well, how would you really expect a Greens politician to be in touch with any real people? Honestly? Come on. As an elected member of the Commonwealth Parliament, Adam Bandt has shown he is unfit to be a member of Parliament when he demonstrates contempt for one of Australia's most unifying symbols. She said via the Daily Telegraph, "This is exactly the type of empty virtue signalling we've come to expect from the Greens party." Yeah, they're just... Are they getting worse, guys? I think they are. I mean, they're sitting around 10%. Although here in Brisbane now, we're a green city, guys. We're a green city. I suspect it's a generation of people who were able to vote for the first time ever in their lives, and they don't realize why you don't vote for left and you don't vote for hard left. They have to learn the hard way. Okay? You only vote Greens, you only vote Labor once, then you grow out of it. If the Greens are not proud of our Commonwealth, they should not be using taxpayer-funded Commonwealth officers for their press conference, Nationals Senator Matt Canavan said. Mr. Bandt made headlines last week after declaring Australia's ongoing energy crisis is a failure of privatisation, claiming the government wrote the rules to suit big corporations. Well, what the problem is here, they're stepping in and managing the market. They're blocking the signals, and infrastructure isn't being built. No one's lending. No, we're never. Are we ever going to build another coal plant here in Australia? Here's the thing, guys. Here's a quote from Dr. Alan Finkel, chief scientist. If the world were to reduce its carbon emissions by 1.3%, what impact would that have on climate change in the world? And his response, the impact would be virtually nothing. The reason why he was asked about that 1.3% was because that is all of Australia's carbon emissions on a global scale. We will make no difference. We will just limit our development. We will lower our human development index. We will lower our economic complexity, and we will lower our ability to compete on a global scale. For nothing. Absolutely nothing. So people are calling for this. All these interventions in your lives, all these costs, these changes, this fear-mongering about the Great Barrier Reef, for absolutely nothing. And then he has the goal to order one of his servants to drag the flag away. Probably because he'd be too weak to do it. That'd have to be like 3 or 4 kilos there. And a soy politician couldn't do that. That's manual labor. They can't touch a piece of metal with their bare hands. No, we can't do that. I don't even know if I'm being facetious anymore. Anyway, the Greens have remained adamant against Australia ramping up coal usage or opening up more gas to deal with burgeoning power issues. Electricity is an essential service when we shift to 100% renewables. This is completely stupid. You go 100% renewables, then you say, well, we make batteries too. But then you've got all the embodied energy in the batteries. You don't need that. You don't need batteries at all, guys. You do not need them. Just burn gas, burn coal. Okay? That's it. Because you've got the embodied energy in the method, the technology used to produce it, and you've got the embodied energy and carbon in the whole lifespan. You need to produce more energy, and it has to be more efficient then. But, I mean, let's look right now. 100% renewable, okay? 100% renewable. Let me bring up this webpage. We'll have a look at the energy market at this very moment. Where is it? Okay, here it is. Let me bring it up. Okay, at the time of recording this, at 4 in the afternoon, we can see here. So, green means, well, greater than 0%. All of these here in Victoria are their wind turbines, 18%, 8%, 14%, 7%. Now, these turbines have a time frame where their lifespan. Now, they have to run at a certain, well, in calculating the actual environmental benefit of these things, they have to, estimate that it's running at a certain percentage, producing a certain percentage of their power over that time frame. Now, what I was looking at was like 60 to 80%, not 7%. So this isn't producing enough to offset its costs. Here's all this sun stuff. Solar, oh look, fossil fuels, 117, 101. Here we go. Okay, so they've put the peak load power stations are on now, the gas ones, 44%. Let's have a look. Let's go farther north. Here we go. All the suns all shutting down, 1%. Here you go, 49%. Wind farm, nice. There you go. We'll keep going up to Queensland. There you go. Fossil fuels, 95%, 97%, 100%. Here we go. We've got Wivenhoe Hydro, 100%. There you go. That's nice. Right there, running hot. No. Wind farm, 3%, 13%, 8%. Here we go. Let's go further up. Come on, solar. Let's give us some good 8%, 15%. Well, it's the end of the day. Solar's coming to an end, guys. Okay, and the greens. So let's have a look. We'll get rid of black coal, natural gas, waste coal gas, brown coal, coal seam methane, biogas, natural gas, diesel, grid. I don't know what that is, but we'll turn it off. Kerosene, natural gas, and diesel. So there you go. That's the gigawatt peak. What's 12.6? And if we turn everything else on, what are we peaking at? 29. Guys, this is just, and it's more consistent. It can go throughout the day and throughout the night. This is not going to work. Okay? These policies of the Greens are not going to work. Let's have a talk about this. Now, I'm not critical of the Greens because I don't like them. I don't like them because their policies are ludicrous. They use fear, they use guilt, and they manipulate people to get votes. You see just this screeching, the fear, the racism coming out of their politicians. It is disgusting. In a multicultural democratic society, I know there's some people like this, but I don't think people realize what they're voting for. I really hope not. Otherwise, it's going to be a bloody interesting future. You tell me what you think, guys. Because this is just another chapter in the Greens that are a joke. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one in the comments down below. If you're a fan and enjoy the content I create here, there are a few ways you can help out. You can financially support us via YouTube or Patreon, use our referral links, or buy our merch, or contact us if you need an architect. Take care, guys. Have a great day. And yeah, imagine if we had a green president, if we were a republic. That's the danger.